After you've experienced a stressful situation of crisis, it's really important to take some time afterwards to process the situation. Oftentimes, this allows you to get out your frustrations and to analyze exactly how you interacted with the child in that situation. When you are processing with others and having these conversations, make sure it's never around children. You might want to talk about the situation with your peers or a supervisor to gain insight from different perspectives into exactly how you handle the situation. While it's important to be critical, it's also important to recognize the successes that you had in handling the situation, while also, of course, acknowledging the ways to improve in the future. After you've processed this situation, it's really important to step back and find ways to restore your faith. Oftentimes, these situations can cause burnout or compassion fatigue, and it's important to step back, take yourself out of that situation, and remember exactly why you do your work, why you care about the children that you work with, and acknowledge that you have something to offer to those kids. One way that I've found especially helpful in doing this and restoring my faith is to find something that I truly love and that makes me feel good. So for me personally, I enjoy running. I do 5Ks on the weekend, and this actually helps me to manage my stress and to step back away from the situation so that I can come back to my work with a fresh perspective. The last element from caring for yourself after crisis is to ask for exactly what you need. This might be a plan to put in place for the next time this situation happens with that child. This might be training so that you can get better at dealing with these kind of situations. This also might be asking for recognition from yourself or from others. I always like to give myself a pint of Ben & Jerry's after one of these stressful situations, just in recognition of how I handled it. In more extreme cases, you might want to consider consulting a mental health care professional to kind of process through what happened in that situation. And lastly, if you feel that you were kind of operating on your own, asking for more concrete information from your supervisor might help with that. So before taking a look at the various quizzes and resources that are involved in this section, I want you to take some time to really reflect on how you deal with crisis by looking at these questions. First, what kind of instinctive response comes more naturally to you? Are you someone who goes into fight mode, or are you kind of tempted to walk away from those crisis situations? Also, when do you have an unusual emotional response? In what kind of conditions and situations do you find yourself responding in opposite ways? Next, what really gets under your skin? What are the characteristics of the times where you really feel that something has gotten to you? And in those cases where something has really gotten under your skin, what happens? How do you respond? What are the common characteristics there? So these are just a few of the questions that you might explore before diving into the supplementary materials.